Hi, I'm Tom Vizzini, and I'd like to talk to you today about anchoring and why you should learn it. And if you know a little bit about it, why you need to know more. Now, for those of you who don't know, anchoring is a lot like if you go back to high school science, and it's Pavlov's dog. Okay? You feed the dog salivates. You feed the dog salivates, ring the bell. Hold up the dog food, dog salivates, ring the bell. No food, ring the bell, dog salivates. Okay? The bell becomes an anchor for something for the dog to feel and want and desire. Now, that is a very simplistic way of putting this together so that you understand what the outcome is. Now, why should you learn to anchor? Well, I mean, it's really simple. If you're in any business or anywhere in your life where you need to persuade or influence others, then you need to learn this skill. And I don't care if it's getting a job, keeping a job, getting a raise, getting a date, getting a deal on a car, getting really great service at a bar, getting treated special in a restaurant, or even just getting something a lot cheaper than you should have, and you've gotten a deal. These skills all develop around one simple concept, and that concept is this: 99% of all decision making is emotional. Okay? Emotion is the fuel that drives our lives. That 1%, that's where we rationalize doing the thing that we've already emotionally decided to do. Now, why is this so powerful? Well, people in the advertising business have understood this for years. You know, what does a pretty girl laying over the hood of a car have to do with the quality of the car? What does sitting on the beach have to do with a particular type of beer? What does smoking a cigarette have to do with being a cowboy? Nothing. Nothing at all in reality. But in our minds, when our imaginations are captured and the emotions are pulled up, we can associate these things. Well, we had a guy that we actually did a project called Interview Magic. And the guy was able to get a job in amazingly quick amounts of time by using anchoring, rapport, and vocal influence. And the bottom line is this: we met this guy, and at the time he was working for basically nothing, or very, very cheap, working 18 hours a day writing software. And he was writing the software in hopes that someday he would get paid with these stock warrants, but it wasn't getting him where he wanted to go. So he started using these skills, and one of his favorite anchors to use on someone was the best friend anchor. He'd go into a job interview. Inevitably, the interviewer would ask, how are you doing? Tell me a little about yourself. All right, because they're always going to ask you to tell me about yourself. And he goes, well, one of the things I like to do is I like to hang out with my best friend. We're really close. We trust each other. And, and he'd kind of pause and he'd go, well, you know what it's like. You have a best friend, don't you? And immediately the guy's eyes would roll up and he'd start thinking of his best friend, even if just for a moment. And Paul would reach up and go, boom. He'd just reach his hand up, boom. And he would plant a trigger. This little thing right here. It's a trigger for the best friend anchor. What happens neurologically in your brain? All of a sudden, this, best friend feeling gets associated to the person in the interview. What kind of influence is that going to give you? Just that one simple thing, that one simple trick. And if you time it right, and you notice what you're doing, and you notice the response of somebody, and you get everything right, and you have the right level of rapport, it's just that easy. The result of this was Paul could get a job just about any time he wanted. I mean, one time he got a job as vice president of advertising, and I asked him, I said, well, have you ever done anything with advertising? He's like, nope, but I'll learn. And he did. And he did a pretty good job. Let me give you an example real quickly of what I've done, and some of you have heard this before. But I was sitting in Applebee's looking at a guy who'd made $1 million that day, who was day trading in the stock market, did really, really good. And he came down and he sat next to me after being there for a while, and I looked at him and I said, hey, I was wondering, you made a lot of money. What do you do with that money that makes you happy? And he looks at me and goes, oh, I bought my wife a $25,000 Rolex. How'd that make you feel? And he goes, wonderful. Boom. Timed it right. Boom. Wonderful. So we sat down, and then I went and I fired the wonderful anchor again, and I saw him light up. Now, this is great. So it was time for me to finish my dinner. I picked up the bill, get ready to pay it, and I fired the wonderful anchor. And he took the bill away from me. He felt wonderful buying me dinner. Okay? Was it a horrible, sneaky, underhanded thing to do? Not really. The guy just made $1 million. I think he can afford it. No harm was done. The reason that the Total Life Transformation Seminar is so important to you is because we're going to take these skills and tailor them to fit your personality. Let me give you a very, very quick example. All right. If you saw somebody out and they were having a really good time, and they're having fun and you want to talk to them and you want to anchor a good feeling, someone who is already confident and outgoing can walk up and say, hey, you look like you're having a great time. What do you like about this? Okay? That's going to work great for me or somebody that's more outgoing. All right? But for someone who's average, who likes feeling equal, all right, you might be a whole lot easier for you to walk up and go, hey, I'm just wondering, why are you smiling so much? Okay? And that would be really good for them. And it's an easier elicitation than the one that requires confidence. But if you're kind of a subordinate person, who a little shyer, maybe not as confident, it'll be a whole lot easier to go, hey, I hate to bother you, but I was wondering, what's making you so happy? So whether you're a confident person, an equal person, or someone who's a little subordinate, your goal is to generate that same response, and then you can just set that anchor. And this is what we do for you. We take these different kinds of personalities and the varieties of personalities that are involved, and we make it to where you do not have to come and become this super confident person. You don't have to be this guy here in order to get the skills. Do you understand the power of that? Do you understand what I'm saying here? Okay? So, and it's not just with anchoring, it's with everything else. Now, this is where most, 99% of all these other skill trainings like this are out there. They're tailored to fit one personality type. They're tailored to fit the one kind of person, the confident, outgoing person who can already go out and use these skills. And I've seen this over the years, and I've been dying for a way to actually develop this so that we can do it in a way that fits everybody's personality. And finally, technology has allowed us to take an inordinate amount of time. We're talking about 4 weeks of pre-training, 5 days of training, and 3 weeks of post-training to be able to identify, develop, and make this skill fit your personality. And not just this skill. We're also talking about anchoring. What's anchoring? We're also talking about rapport. We're also talking about local influence. We're also talking about personal change work. Okay? It's the kind of seminar where we're going to make you learn the skills at whatever level you are, and then you can grow to whatever level you want to be. You may not ever want to be this super confident, outgoing person. I don't blame you. Sometimes it's too much for people. You might someday be more equal. Maybe you're just happy with equal, and you want the skills that'll fit an equal kind of curious personality. Maybe you're subordinate and you're fine with that, and that's your personality type and you're happy with it. Well, I'm not going to force you to become this guy in order to use these skills. And that's the way things have done it, and I've done it in the past myself. Finally, we've cracked the code on getting these kinds of changes, these kinds of skills to generate the same outcome. Because actually doing the anchoring is quite simple once you learn the skills and you learn the secrets. Okay? Getting the skill to fit your personality, that's a completely different art form. If you're curious, okay, and trust me, if you're not curious, you're dead. But what I want you to do, attached to this video, either at the bottom of the page or somewhere on there, is a link to the Total Life Transformation Seminar we're having this October. And I would like you to check it out. I'd like you to sign up today. All right? We're giving you over $4,000 worth of value for $995. And we're even doing better than that. We're making it affordable, where you can make 4 payments so that it can fit your budget and change your life. If you're ready to change your life, if you're ready to get the results that other people have only promised you, then you need to sign up for this seminar today. Thanks a lot. This is Tom Vizzini, and I'll see you at the seminar.